Welcome back to the Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Going to go straight now to life coach John Brubaker. You know, I'm really finding it's very interesting in these times of ours. People are looking for a competitive edge, and so they often they need outside help. And I don't think most people realize it, but even great professional athletes, people like Tiger Woods. How many people can beat Tiger Woods at a round of golf? He has a coach. He has someone who is externally, checking him out, making sure he's performing at his best. And some of the greatest athletes out there, people that can't be beat by hardly anyone, still have a coach. And the reason why is they need that third party, that external, outside looking in to tell them, how they're doing things, how they can do things better, and to really help them overcome any specific problems they have. John Brubaker is a performance consultant, speaker, and author, and delighted to have you on the show this evening. How are you?
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Hey, what's your story that led to you becoming a coach? Because very few people say, "Hey, I'm 22. I think I'll become a coach." You know, they don't usually have enough life to be a life coach. And so, what's your story?
Well, I got my start in coaching in the athletic arena. I was a college lacrosse coach for 12 years. And, enjoyed a wonderful career doing that. But I felt it was time for transition back into the corporate world. And I still wanted to coach people, and I think there's so many transferable parallels, when you talk about the psychology of human performance, whether it's the athletic arena, the business arena, or someone's personal success. That's really what led me into a career in coaching outside of athletics. And, I like to say that, my industry has changed, but, the people I'm coaching have changed a little bit, but there's so many universal principles that I really don't feel my job has changed.
Talking to John Brubaker, he's a life coach and author as well. Tell us about what you've written.
Sure. My latest book is called The Coach Approach, Success Strategies from the Locker Room to the Boardroom. And it's a book designed to help business leaders or any kind of business professional and their teams that they work in achieve peak performance. And what I do in the book is I share some of my coaching experience and knowledge by applying it to the sport we all compete in every day, the sport of business.
Okay, so you talk a lot about business, but not everyone. Some people have issues that are more well-rounded than that, or more diverse than that. Talk about the general life coach, and how your practice and your philosophy applies there.
Sure. I think coaches, by their very title, what they do is they get people to have conversations they don't necessarily want to have, and do things they don't necessarily want to do, in order to get where they really want to be. And maybe that's a career change. Maybe that's, transitioning out of a bad relationship. Maybe it's just, their physical fitness. But, the same coaching principles really apply. Goal setting, how you motivate yourself. I can't motivate you. I can teach you how to motivate yourself. And that's really a lot of what I do with clients. Give them a set of tools they can use themselves.
Okay. So typically, when you have a person who's interested in particular in the life coach arena, where do you begin?
Where I begin with them is I just take a baseline. Where are you versus where you want to be? Sort of the as is versus your ideal state. And the key piece to someone who's going to be coachable is they really have to be willing to engage in some self-reflection. So, I want to assess the person's motivation and their desire to really make changes. And, having a coach isn't for everybody. I think everyone could benefit from it, but they have to be receptive to it.
They'd have to be willing to be benefit from it. You had
mentioned Tiger Woods. He doesn't need a coach. He wants a coach. And I've seen that with the most elite athletes in any sport. Maybe it's a Hollywood performer or a musician. They don't need a coach. They want a coach because they know the coach can see the forest through the trees. We all have blind spots in our lives, things we don't see. You need that person who's got some outside perspective to help you get to the next level, whatever that next level may be for you.
Yeah, but these professional athletes are always surrounded by yes men and yes women who accommodate them and make them feel sometimes more special than they should feel, and they end up doing more harm than they do good. And they want to have that one person that's paid to tell the truth.
And I think we won't admit it, but we all thrive in an environment where there's discipline and accountability.
Yeah, I think so. And we won't admit it. We thought that was something that becoming grown-ups allowed us not to have anymore.
Exactly.
Oh, we don't need that anymore. No, you actually need it more if you really want to reach specific goals and specific objectives. And so you really need that. Talk a little bit about what the needs have been in the last few years, because I would think that things not necessarily have changed, but the reasons why they come to you may have changed because of the way the economy has been.
Absolutely, and the biggest change that I've seen in the last 2 years in terms of my type of clientele, people who approach me for coaching, the highest demand right now has been work-life balance coaching. People who want to get better at separating those two things, and I think you'll agree, Kevin, with technology today, we are literally and figuratively kind of tethered to our BlackBerries, our smartphones. We can't avoid that technology. Wireless cities. People are able to work anywhere, anytime, and that's not real healthy. The way we're working really isn't working anymore.
Yeah. John Brubaker is his name. What's your website, John?
CoachBrew.com. That's BRU.
CoachBrew.com, and I encourage you to check him out, learn more about it. You know what? If your game isn't where you want it to be, whatever your game is, most of my audience, I would say, are in business, either working for companies or owning companies. You know what? Check out Coach Brew. See if he can do something for you. I'm a poet and didn't know it. All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Kevin.
Do want to remind you the show continues 24/7 over at priceofbusiness.com. Great audio, video, and articles and more. While you are there, make sure you like us on Facebook. We need that validation. And also follow us on Twitter. And don't forget our sister news site, usdailyreview.com, which we were talking about earlier today. Interesting article there about the whole Trayvon Martin case, the story that won't go away. Boy, I wish it would, but it doesn't seem like it will. And you know what? I'm beginning to wonder, and there's an interesting story about that over there at US Daily Review. You might want to check it out, too. Is Obama race baiting the Martin case to help re-election chances? What do you think about that? Check that out over there at usdailyreview.com, plus much, much more. I thought an interesting story. Mr. Mitt Romney is going to be going to Liberty University, and that should be an interesting story as well. Much more for you right after this on The Price of Business.